And we're live. Welcome to 5 Minute Friday with Startup TNT. I'm your host, Zach Storms, and I'm here with Ryan Lewinson, who just raised money at our inaugural Life Sciences Investment Summit. Ryan, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's great to have you here, Ryan. I am broadcasting to you live from our home base in Edmonton. This is the podcast studio at the Mercer Building in Startup Edmonton, the same place we hosted the summit. Where are you calling in from, Ryan?
I am calling from the Richmond Road Diagnostic and Treatment Center in Calgary, so fresh out of clinic.
Fresh out of clinic, finding a few minutes for this podcast in a busy day. All right, listen, I like to stick close to the time, although I do warn people, sometimes I go over time because you know what, Ryan? It's hard to pack this much into 5 minutes. We want to learn about you. We want to share some stories, share some advice. So I'm going to put this timer on here, but you know, if we're like a 7 or 8 minute talk, it's all good. Are we ready for this?
All good. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to start us off with an easy question, okay? What is your name and job title?
So my name is Ryan Lewinson. I am a co-founder of Allskin, which is a company that we started in Calgary. And in my spare time, I am a dermatology resident here in Calgary as well.
Okay. Well, so you're wearing multiple hats. How did you become an entrepreneur then? How did you get started?
Yeah, so the journey to becoming an entrepreneur was something that I think was a little bit planned and a little bit unplanned, I would say. So I come from a very entrepreneurial family, siblings, parents, all entrepreneurs. So maybe there's a little bit of genetics in there for me. I went through school, going through biomedical engineering here in Calgary for my graduate studies, and engineering, very entrepreneurial type of program as well, product development, building things. So we got the chance to work with a lot of companies in building and researching their products. And I think that really kind of lit the switch that, you know, I always really liked the idea of doing research on things that would have direct translation to give to people. I love the ability to build something that we can provide to people. And really the way that you do that is, so engineering builds something, but you got to be an entrepreneur to actually get it to people. And so that's kind of where it all really began. This journey to Allskin was a fortuitous landing of three friends and with different backgrounds and skill sets that kind of in the midst of the pandemic, we started to realize that there is a big gap in what we were seeing in dermatology clinic and kind of put our heads together and found some solutions.
Yeah, okay. And you know, you mentioned your undergraduate degree in engineering, but you're at a dermatology clinic right now. So can we I love people with a lot of degrees, just for the record. I love degrees. I got a few myself. So what degrees do you have? I know you got more than just the engineering degree.
Sure. So I did my bachelor's degree in kinesiology in Ottawa, where I was doing focusing on biomechanics. That led me to do a PhD in biomedical engineering here in Calgary, where I was also focusing on some biomechanics and predictive modeling for I was doing footwear research, so matching the right shoe to the right person at the right time. Following that, I did a medical degree here in Calgary, and then I am now in my 4th out of 5th year of dermatology residency. So I am 16 out of 17 years in.
I joke that I was a student up until I was 34. That's when I finished my last degree. So we got a lot in common. You know what? People knock graduate degrees all the time, but you know what? They're super valuable. Tell us what value you got out of your graduate degrees that you're applying to your life as an entrepreneur.
You know, I think a lot of times when people think about graduate degrees, there's a tendency to focus on, the project that you're doing or the content area, maybe not going to have relevance to what you're doing down the line. And that sometimes is true and sometimes isn't. But I think the main thing that I got from a graduate degree that I think a lot of people get from graduate degree is really the project management and the way that you approach problem solving. So graduate degrees really train you to think, is the way that I like to think about it, to use the word twice. But it is true that the way that you approach a problem, having gone through graduate school, you kind of identify the problem, you look for where those gaps are, you understand where the state of the art is currently around that topic. You start putting some ideas together and experimentation on how to put things together. And I think probably the biggest lesson that applies to grad school and to entrepreneurship is fail fast. You hear that all the time. And the best way to get through graduate studies, in my view, is you have to experiment, find something novel. And the best way that you're going to do that is you got to fail fast. And no different in the entrepreneur world as well.
Yeah, that's a really eloquent way to explain it. I couldn't agree more. Training you how to think, how to comprehensively approach problems, which is what you have to do as an entrepreneur all the time.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your life as an entrepreneur. Let's talk about Allskin. What are you guys doing at Allskin?
Yeah, so Allskin is a company that we started in August 2020, and we are focused on helping people with sensitive skin. So sensitive skin is a very, very common problem. It affects about 1 in 6 people every year in Canada and the US. And oftentimes it's caused by ingredients that are coming in contact with the skin. The trouble is that the only way that you can manage sensitive skin is by knowing what your triggers are and then avoiding them. So we're helping people to do that by use of our new product and technology that we're developing. So we have a home-based patch that is pre-filled with several ingredients that people can apply to their skin at home. And then that links with our software where people will be able to take a photo of the reactions from home. That result gets analyzed through artificial intelligence and then links up to our product database that has 7,000 products on market and counting that allows people to buy and search for products that will be safe for their skin. Over time, we're hoping to grow this even bigger so that we can have more and more objective data come into the platform and really hone in on this idea of personalized and precision, really, skincare. That's
pretty awesome. I just have a feeling that the infant and childhood market could be a big opportunity here too. I don't know if you're targeting, but just to recap, I put a skin on my arm. I put a patch on a piece of skin on my arm. Wait a few minutes, take a photo, upload it to your software platform, and then basically get recommended products that I can buy right away.
That's right. And so the interesting part about this patch is that you actually wear it for 2 days. And so the reactions that tend to happen with sensitive skin usually occur after a delayed reaction. So we call it a delayed hypersensitivity reaction. So it actually takes a bit of time to show up. And that's part of the reason why it's so hard for people to figure out what is causing these problems on the skin, because when you see the rash, it's actually related to things that were on your skin 2 or 3 days ago. And so it can be very hard to figure that part out on your own without doing a test like this.
Okay. And tell us what stage you're at right now. Like you listed a bunch of steps there. Are they all worked out, ready to go now, or where are you at on finalizing that product?
Sure. So our patch, we have we actually just got delivered some prototypes this past week. They are manufactured right here in Alberta, and we have them completely filled with all of the ingredients that they need, and they're going to undergo some testing over the next couple of weeks. So we're really happy and excited about that. From the software side of things, we've got a complete product database with over 7,000 products, and we're continuing to add to that as well. That is all filterable. We have the ability for people to log in and create their own user account. And so we're working right now to integrate those two pieces where people can take the photo and link to the product database. So we're hoping to have all of that ready to go by sometime mid this summer.
Okay, that's awesome. And how long would you incorporate again? Remind us all.
We incorporated August 2020.
Okay.
About 18 months ago now.
Okay, so it's been 18 months. Okay, for some reason I thought it was only like 6 or 8 months ago. Okay, 18 months. That's awesome. And you're already fundraising. You're raising.
That's right.
A decent-sized round. You just raised money from TNT. Maybe tell us a little bit about why you decided to join our Life Sciences Summit and what the experience is like.
So I guess I must say, like, the Life Sciences Summit and Startup TNT was more than we could have ever imagined it being. It was a really incredible experience for us. When we went into this, we were actively started to fundraise our round. We had never gone through fundraising as a company before. All of us being kind of relatively new entrepreneurs as well. This was a new experience for us. And we had heard great things about Startup TNT and the other summits that had been done for fundraising, and really great feedback from other entrepreneurs that, through that process, not only do you get to interact with numerous investors to get feedback on your business, but you're also interacting with other companies in the Alberta ecosystem. And that element really of sharing kind of the challenges that you're having and the successes that you're having. And there's a lot of crosstalk, within the AI field, within the manufacturing field, regulatory. So there's a lot of overlap. And, through this process with TNT and working through due diligence meetings, we learned, I think, as much about our company as investors did. So it was a really invaluable experience for us. really great people that were involved through the whole process. So I can't recommend it enough, and I don't think I could share our gratitude enough.
Well, thank you, Ryan. And you know what? That's what you're describing as the experience is what we really hope people get out of it. You know, like learning about your own company, challenging your own assumptions, figuring things out, but then also learning about fundraising, how to tell a story, how to interact with investors. And one of the interesting things about this summit that was kind of special and unique, and I loved, was that some of our organizing partners were also investors looking at the deals through their own due diligence process. And so I know that you're now talking to both USeed and Halo Health. And so there could be a few investors at the table, that's right, at that summit, not just TNT, which is
that's really right. The exposure has been wonderful, and the people that we've connected with along the way, I think, are going to play major roles in the company going forward, through partnerships and just advice going forward as well. So, we've really taken much more out of this than just the money. It's a really great experience.
Okay, you know what? We're like double the time right now. So I've like done a terrible job. I think this happened when I talk to like scientists, I get excited. I want to learn about their technology. I just like go right into that. But so maybe we'll ask like one or two more questions. First one is, you are balancing finishing off your residency, being a proper doctor, full on MD, with, launching a company full time. So how are you balancing that? And I actually think it's great to sort of build your company up to a point where like you now are going to jump in full time. So any advice for entrepreneurs out there about kind of taking that approach? Balancing a job with launching a company.
So I think that, balancing the two is important. And I think there's a couple of reasons for it. Number one, you want to grow your company to the point where your company can support you. And, right now, as much as we would all love to work on Allskin all the time, sometimes I think it makes more sense to actually deploy the capital that gets raised to actually growing the company rather than kind of supporting us. We're the founders. We're going to work on it either way. And so I think that there is a little bit of value in that. But in terms of the timing of how do you balance, sheer power. You basically have to just love what you're doing. When we are at clinic, we are focusing on our patients and trying to do everything that we can for them. As soon as we get home from clinic, we have a coffee and we're working on Allskin for the rest of the day. So we love that. Like spending the time that we have on Allskin during the days or evenings and weekends, whatever that gap may be, that's kind of a highlight of our day right now. So we really look forward to doing that. I think that within the kind of the balancing of the two roles, really important to find mentors in both camps, with the entrepreneurial side and the whatever your day job is, that support kind of that interaction. So we've been really fortunate through the dermatology program to have a lot of mentors that see value in what we're doing, that will hopefully bring value to patients as well, and want to support that development. So we've been really lucky in that regard as well. I think that the one piece of advice would be that for a lot of people who are in residency or working as a physician or have another job, and they are thinking about an idea that they have and they want to work on a company maybe, but they're thinking, well, I'm not sure how to balance. I'm coming from the engineering background. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted by a external force. So you got to put that thing in motion. You just have to start, and things will snowball from there.
I love that. I love the combination of passion and engineering logic in your
yes.
Hey, listen, why don't you leave us today with like your parting view or final view on where you want to see Allskin go? What impact do you want to see Allskin having on the world, decades from now or years from now? What's your vision for the future?
We want to disrupt skincare. We want to really be the first to bring about precision skincare. And what that means for us is being the first company that allows consumers to get objective data about their skin that they can put towards their skincare choices. There's a lot of online surveys that people can do where you enter in what you think is going on, and there's a lot of places where you can go into a beauty boutique or whatever, and they might help you out. But there's not really anything that you're getting objective data of how does your skin behave? What happens when you go into humidity? What happens when you travel? What happens when you use this ingredient? What happens when you don't use this ingredient? And being able to incorporate that into the skincare space, I think is going to make a lot of people's lives easier, It's going to improve skin health for a lot of people, and just educating people about the skin as well. So we see this as being something that could overhaul the way that skincare is currently delivered for the general consumer, and hopefully translate some of that work into the clinic as well.
Well, Ryan, we are excited at TNT to be part of this journey now and see this evolution happen before our eyes. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks so much for joining the Life Sciences Investment Summit. And if anyone out there watching would like to participate in some of these fun activities, we've got a Clean Tech Summit coming up April 7th, where we'll be raising money for clean tech companies. And then this spring, our standard Startup TNT Investment Summit number 5 for the regions of Edmonton, Calgary, and all of Saskatchewan. We'll be raising money for lots of companies this spring, having a lot of fun, and hope you can make it out. The other thing is, you can always just join us on a Thursday at one of our happy hours in Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, or even Regina. All right, let's leave it there, Ryan. Thanks so much, and everybody have a good weekend.
Thanks for having me.